Hey, Divine Ones. I wanted to come and talk today about something that came up for me yesterday. Yesterday, I attended an event for men, and in this workshop for men, the subject of stress came up. And a lot of the men in this workshop started talking about how they had been recently to their doctors, and their doctors had freaked out because a lot of them, their bodies were flooded with cortisol. They were having a lot of stress related illnesses. And one person even said that their doctor was amazed that they were even alive because of the amount of damage that stress had done on their system. And a lot of these men were saying like that they didn't feel stressed, and they were really concerned and kind of confused because they were saying, I didn't feel stressed. Um, I Is this just silently coming up upon us? What's going on? And I wanted to speak to this in this video because this is something I found in my own healing journey, but also in my work with men around the world, is that men often define stress in a very different way that keeps us from really being able to identify when we ourselves are actually in stress. And part of this is because, especially in the West, our definition of stress is kind of a catch-all. We use the term stress for a lot of different things, and we're not actually able to really identify what we're actually feeling and how that feeling is actually causing our bodies to be flooded with cortisol and adrenaline, is actually disconnecting us from the energy flow of our souls, and actually causing harm to us. So one of the reasons why this is the case is because for a lot of people, but especially for men, what we define as stress is taking on more than we can handle. Like not being able to handle our lives or our workloads. And for a lot of men don't really feel that, right? They are doing a lot. They're raising a family, they're working, they're trying to build their legacies, they're doing all these things. And they don't associate that with stress because they're able to still do those things, right? They're still able to function. And that's really kind of why stress gets misconstrued in our understandings, is because we believe stress means that I'm not really able to function. But that's not what actually stress is. And what I believe and what I've learned as doing energy work and healing work for people around the world is stress really is when you're in any state that is outside of peace, when you are really not at peace. So you may be able to do these things, but are you able to do these things and be at peace? So when I talk to people and I help them identify if they're stressed or not, I say, instead of thinking about the word stress, think about exhaustion. Are you exhausted? Instead of thinking about stress, think about overwhelm. Do you feel overwhelmed? Instead of thinking about stress, do you feel frustrated? Instead of thinking about stress, do you feel worried? Instead of thinking about stress, do you feel like you're doing a lot of what you don't want to do? Because this all is stress. This is all what stress is. This is what stresses the nervous system, and it stresses the energetic system. So when you're doing a lot of what you don't want to do, what you have done is actually bled the feeling of joy and happiness from you, and that is stress. When you are exhausted, what you are doing is you're doing a lot of what drains you and what makes you tired and what doesn't energize you, and that is stress. When you are frustrated, what that means is you're not seeing the fulfillment of things. You're not seeing things work out for you. You feel like there's a lot in the way. That stress. When you're worried, and you're chronically worried about something, worried about whether it's not going to work out or whether something is going to happen to you negatively that's unwanted, that is stress. All of these things actually disconnect you from your natural state of peace, and they make your body go into fight or flight response, which floods your system with the hormones of cortisol and adrenaline, which are stress hormones. And also energetically, when you are not in peace, you do not allow the flow, the unimpeded flow of your soul's energy through your chakra system, through your energetic system. And that causes imbalance in your energy field, which causes you to be ill as well. So this is what stress really is. But for men, we are so used to conditioned in our society and in our cultures to believe that stress is something saying, I can't handle this. So you may be able to do all of these things. You may be able to complete all these things. You may have a lot of things on your shoulders and you can do it. But do you want to do it? Is this how you really wanted to live your life? Does this feel good to you? Do you feel at ease and at peace? Are you happy? If you are not, the likelihood is you are in some form of stress. And being in that state for a chronic period of time is going to have a negative effect on our bodies. And one of the ways to begin to heal ourselves is really to begin to identify how we're stressed. And what I highly recommend is to stop using the word stress and to really tune in to how you're actually feeling. And if you're not feeling at peace, then that's probably a signal that you are in stress, and you need to look at how you can release that stress or make changes in your lifestyle, make changes in your home and your behaviors and your work and in your consciousness so that you are no longer in stress and you can be happy, because the body is not going to lie. The body is not a betrayer of you. Your body is your best friend. And if it is sick and it is showing stress-related illnesses, it's because you have been stressed for a while. You just have not noticed it. And another reason also is because we're so conditioned as men to take on more, to be in overexertion and overwhelm, that becomes kind of your natural way that you move, your usual way that you move through life. And so you've not been taught to identify that as what you shouldn't be doing. You're taught to identify that as this is what a man is. He constantly has a full to-do list. He's constantly taking on everybody's issues. He's constantly working and providing and protecting, and not understanding that that is overexertion for you. And that is overwhelm, and that you don't feel at ease and you don't feel at peace and you are not happy and you are stressed, and that stress is not benign. So I just wanted to come and do this video and just kind of help us reword what we identify as stress so that we can begin to really become alert of when we're not in the state of being that allows wellness to flow through us, when we are in the state of a being that is manifesting illness for us, which is stress. And especially if you're a man out there, and if you love a man out there, please share this video with him so he can help become aware of where he may be stressed in his own life and begin to make the changes. But stress isn't just about not taking on so much that you can't handle it. Stress is about handling so much that you're no longer at peace. Whether that is handling a lot in your mind, whether that is handling a lot in your energy or your emotional state, or whether that's handling a lot in your physical life. If you're not at peace, you're probably in a state of stress. As always, I hope this has helped you in your journey of healing and well-being. And until next time, I love you. Now go love yourself.